Talk at all about the Saving Sinners tour tonight, or what do you want to talk about?
Well, we always have to talk about that. Um, I think you should talk about the guys more and all the things, want to see what's happening in the world. I thought that was really good because you're tying in.
You
You're
know we're
tying.
live right now. You know I'm live, right?
No, I don't know. You're live, man. Are you live, man?
Yeah, I am, man. So Diana's in the background. You're on fire, but you're telling all the secrets back there. What are you doing? And so Saving Sinners tour. That's right here. Faith over fear. The revival. Saturday, October 28th is coming to Georgia, Loganville, Georgia, right down there. I think it's a great sound out of Atlanta. You're going to have some amazing performers. A lot of the Christian based gospel rappers. You can see him right here on the flyer. We're going to have our guy, Hard Work. He's going to be on tomorrow with us, Diana, and he's going to be coming talking. And here's some of the other top headliners, right? We talked about it last night. You got the Saving Sinners tour lineup. Of course, we have DVS 7. He's going to try to come on tomorrow, the next day. And we certainly think there's going to be a lot of other great performers, such as, well, like Bryson Gray, right? Forgiato. Topher, so many others are coming on, and of course, then we'll have some motivational speakers, some really powerhouses there. I'm pretty excited, Diana. So, talk a little bit about, this is kind of a ground-up opportunity. It's an interesting situation because no one's done what we're doing right now in the country at all.
Exactly what I was going to tell you.
And
no one's done this ever. Go on, continue.
It's going to be like one of these moments where when you see what's going on, wow, that light is bright behind me. I feel like I'm on the, lineup here. It's like, woo. So it is going to be a once in a lifetime experience, I think, for most, but it's going to be repeated hopefully across this country as we go, because no one's actually take this kind of group of talented performers, and a lot of these guys, they'll tell you a story. A lot of them are coming out of the same locations as some of the other folks that we're going to have more from the gospel side, and what that really means, we're bringing people together, right? And that's kind of the summary of the story.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're bringing many different kind of diverse groups together, but the main thing is your objective. Your objective is to win youth. And in order to win the youth, you got to give them something that they can familiarize with. Like some of those guys you told me a story about, some of those were gangbangers and some of those were drug addicts. And everybody's come from a different place that they can relate to the youth. I mean, we have to reach them with the venue that's going to attract them. We can't get up there and do 60s music and say, hey, guys, come out. We're going to have a revival. And
You'd want to hear the 60s music? Is that what you like?
Shut up, Kevin. I like all kinds of music.
But you've listened to some of the music because you talked about at a meeting just last night on the meeting we had publicly. You talked about when you talked about the lyrics and the reaction from, well, some ladies that were, would you call them seasoned?
I would say they were seasoned like myself, and I would say they were more on the social scales. And they probably have not been, now I could be wrong, but from what I know, they have not been subject. And they might have even preconceived ideals. None of them are racist. None of them are biased. That's not what I'm saying. But we know today's culture is being, that we're being pulled apart. Mm-hmm. We know that society, and we know the government, and we know the establishment, everybody else, and Satan wants to pull us apart. And we're not having that. This event will disseminate all that. I mean, it will just bust it like you took a sledgehammer and saying, look, this is the way it is. That was their reaction when I started. And listen, I'm not doing any lyrics tonight, so don't try. Don't try to get me to do it. That was bad.
You were much better than your son.
Because my son didn't do it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Bang. Bang, right. He refused his one opportunity. We could have had him picked up by a contract last night if he did it, but he backed out. So you actually talked last night. You don't have to do the lyrics, but you talked about Bryson Gray and loving the fact that he's spitting, right? We'll do some of the industry terms, these lyrics, and they are heartfelt, and they're also they're no different than your typical music that comes out of locations of urban places across the country. You talk about differences, but yet it's really calling out the same things that the people that on any of the MAGA or any of the pro I guess America kind of situations. This is definitely not going to be a place if you're really really extremely like I don't know like the squad. You're probably not going to have a good time. But if you're someone that is open to meeting different people, maybe having a different opportunity to hear different music, this is a perfectly good opportunity for you to go down to Georgia. And again, Diana, when you see this Saving Sinners tour, as someone that's been in the industry, and I mean the industry of politics, quasi, public service, you've been serving in different capacities. You see the diversity right off the bat. It's gotta be mind-boggling to the folks on that extreme side that I talk about, how we could pull even to get these people to commit to this is a pretty major deal.
Well, even to get them together. So of course I did my research. As soon as you started planning this and you told me and you sent me and told me everybody that was in, I started doing my research and I was going like, whoa, what? And the fact that there's that connection, which I attribute always to God, that connection comes from above. And saying, "Oh, this guy is MAGA, mayor of whatever his name. He's got a title,
Yeah.
Mayor of MAGAville,
Yeah.
and
Forgiato.
Forgiato Blow.
Yeah, there it is.
And then Jimmy Levy,
Mm-hmm.
direct line to Trump. And you're saying to yourself out there who's listening, why are you bringing that in? Well, I'm bringing it in because God moves in mysterious ways, and the fact that got picked from them and them. And then when I listen to their music, and I've never been against rap. My son has. Hi, Adam.
There he is. Adam's on the set. He's right here, right now. Well,
He's always, kept me like saying. He actually said to me, "Mom, you didn't do bad for a 71-year-old." I said, "That's a pretty good comment." But no, the fact that I've always kind of been on the outer edge of listening to certain songs, like there's certain old hip hop that I liked. But when he turned me on to these guys, and then I printed out the lyrics because I just said, "What? Do you know what it requires to have that bravery in today's climate? The underlying bravery to say, I'm not standing for it anymore. I'm going to come out and speak." And so is this going to inspire you spiritually? You betcha. There is no 100%. But is it going to raise your awareness to, hey, I got to get involved all across the board. God doesn't want me to be anything but a soldier.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And Adam, welcome again back tonight. We did, for just for sake of argument, we did pick on you a little bit about your lack of ability to step up to the mic and perform.
Say, I'm not.
Just for sake of argument, we did pick on you a little bit about your. Oh, got a little back feed there. Wait, Adam, so you got it ready tonight? You're going to spit?
I never have anything ready. It would be just pure freestyle, real freestyle, not written down lyrics. But
well, whenever you jump in, you feel free, just do it, because we'll just get you set up.
well, what turned me off yesterday was when Mom said show her up, but no good son would ever want to show up their mother. So
no. And there's no way I think last night you could have, because she was right spot on, spitting it like she should. Thank you. Adam, you're hearing us talk about this, and from a younger point of view of younger father, younger demographic, very much aligned those. You said, Mom said, Christian base, and this is the organizations we're bringing together, and we're welcoming all. But what do you say when you see this flyer? I mean, you see the diversity here, and you see the opportunity. It's got to be something that excites you, right?
Well, definitely. To a point, yes, and to a point, no. But to me, it just seems how it should always be. I don't believe the race war that our government and country has created is sickening. So I think all of that's always sickening. Martin Luther said it best: the content of your character. That's what we should judge every individually as. There are cultural things, but a lot of the cultural things right now are prevalent in different places, which is contributed to the decline of American society. It hasn't helped it. There's a lot of bad cultural things that are going on, and that's why we have this tour. we don't want that anymore. They've infiltrated our schools, and you know, uh, they've they've tried to take the job of the parents, and they try to take the job of God. They've tried to eliminate morality, goodness, our moral fiber that define this country, and that's what we're trying to take back. And we are welcoming all, because Jesus said, "He without sin cast the first stone." I know I've done more than a fair share of, things in my life that, but that's what makes us who we are. So, amen. I love it. I love the people singing. I love to hear these guys. I love to hear patriotic rap. I love to hear Christian rap, and it gives us for those of us who like the music. It's an amazing alternative to the filth that's out there nowadays. Yeah, and Bryson's, spot on. Him, and you have other guys, like Topher and Forgiato, hard work, the Latino, Trump's for Latinos for Trump. You got all these guys, and I've listened to their music way before this. I've listened to Bryson, Topher, and all them for a long time, for years and years. Tyson James and all these guys, and they're great, and we need more people to hear them. And we need people to come and celebrate together, no matter what you are, no matter where you're from, and celebrate God and Jesus, and celebrate, that's something to celebrate in itself, I think.
It is. And so we're on here. We're going to try to come on every night. I did talk to the team individually, most of the folks, and they're going to start getting some of the performers to come on next week. So each night we'll be able to go out and with a performer, talk it up. But what we really need is for people to buy tickets right now. And we're going to hopefully have that streaming app or a streaming location. We'll be able to advertise that tomorrow. So if you're listening here on this show or you hear this anywhere, you'll be able to click right on and buy a subscription. I think it's going to be $5 or $10 or something like that. You'll be able to see all this talent, and this is probably going to be where we get a lot of people across the country that can't make it to Georgia, where you can take advantage of. You want to see where the greatest acts that are going on in the country in this space? Well, you're going to see it right here in Georgia on the 28th. Let me ask you, Diana, you've put on some events, and one of the biggest struggles, let's talk candidly, right? So, and there's no secret here, folks. There's a lot at stake here, and our job is to promote this. But I want to be very clear that no matter what happens with this event, the first event, there's going to be a second and a third, and we're going to schedule for 2024. We really have commitment for some really big people. And I say verbal commitment. I wouldn't say, committed. But, I was down in Atlanta last week. No pretending. Lee Carter, who I'm going to be working with, he's very interested. When he gets back from his overseas trip, he's going to be coming back and talking to us. And that's the gospel. That's all of it. So, but we need people in attendance, and we need people to help us out there, right? I mean, how do you guys want to run with this? I'm trying to plead to the people. We need your help. Sell these tickets. If you can't go buy a group of tickets, throw it out there. We'll give it to a nonprofit locally. We're going to be on the ground there the week before, and we'll hand the tickets out. That's a great way to do it, too. Be patriotic. Help us build this opportunity. What you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that I'm setting up a donate so that we can have something direct from the people that say, hey, I'm in Kentucky, I'm in Indiana, and I'm in whatever, Wisconsin, but I want to see 5 youth come. So I'm trying to set that up for Saving Over Sinners Tour. Or Saving Sinners Tour. I'm trying to set that up so they can go right in there, buy the tickets. We'll donate them to a family or ever how we get it out. But this is the important part, people. Remember, keep the objectives in mind. It might be intertwined with what I want to say is that the climate right now, you understand the need for God. Everybody that's listening understands the need for God. There's no more giving excuses. There's no more saying it's not convenient right now. There's more of that. You've got to come in there. You've got to see this event. How can we preach unless the people are there? How can we win souls? And we need to win souls right now more than ever because people have fear, Kevin.
100%.
So we're trying to reach out to the churches. We're going to send letters out to the churches. On my end, I'm trying to get involved, people politically involved, to say, hey, this isn't our first event. This isn't our 20th event. We might have 52 events. We might hit every single state. That's my vision for it. And that's what they have to understand, is that this is a long-term goal to win souls. It's not just a short.
100%. 100%. Your thoughts, Adam? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we all agree. So, I mean, your thoughts have been so, Adam, we talked about it last night. You and I connected in a way, like sitting out there. We've been talking about a lot of these different projects. When are we going to have something we can connect on? And this is finally it. And it will happen. There will be a production schedule started for January, February, and you're going to be a part of it. And this is, by the way, this is creating jobs. And I'm not going to hold back in here and say we're going to actually have jobs and people paid in this position because we're going to be a national tour. Adam?
Absolutely. Yeah, all of us, we're doing that. But the main focus of this is to save souls. And remember, kids 15 and under are free. So parents, bring your children there. It's going to be an all-day event. There's going to be home cooking. We're going to have people grilling out there. There's going to be, it's going to be good food, great fun. Relax, bring your chairs, whatever. It's going to be an all-day event. So these people have millions and millions of views and followers. They have billboard hits. I mean, you couldn't beat this price anywhere. You get a $25 first. We don't have seating arrangement. You get there early, $25. You have front row seats. I mean, how can you even beat that? I mean, you can't. And we have undiscovered talent like Kiwi, who does shows all around, but he's not largely known, but he's an amazing artist, that preaches a good message. We met him at an event in Indiana, actually, Kiwi Morris. You should check him out, and he's going to come. And a lot of these people are doing it for, this is, we're just trying to bring a good time and an alternative to all the evil that's out there. So if that appeals to anyone today, they should come. I mean, if you got to drive 30 minutes, who doesn't drive 30 or 40 minutes in traffic to work anywhere? Drive 40 minutes to this event and just come and support it. Support a godly alternative and a great time at the same time.
So there's enough churches in that area alone, and I know that we're pounding on that right now, and we're going to be reaching out to the communities, we talked about earlier. That's the important part is we reach out. And so anyone that's listening to this, if you're interested in going, you can reach out to any of us. You can find out all the details. And also, spread it in your networks, please. Post that poster up. These posters are everywhere, these flyers, so you can, we'll send them to you. You guys can have them. And if you want to make a deal right now, if you want to buy 10 tickets, we'll give you 2 tickets free right now. 2 tickets. You buy 10 tickets tonight, you get 2 tickets free. I'll call it into the creation. You send me a message right now, we'll do it, and we'll give away 2 free tickets. And I think we're going to start doing more of that just to attract some attention. Listen, I think when you talk about running an event like this, a lot of people are wondering, like, some people actually worry about safety. I wouldn't think we have to worry about too much safety at this event, do you?
No, not at all. We'll have security there. We have people there that have done security for big names. We have people who've done security for LL Cool J, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump. Mike Lindell. We're going to have people. We're going to have security there, plenty of it. And I don't think you're going to have to worry about that anyway, because the majority of these people are patriots and godly people. And last time I checked, that's not the places that happens at these events.
That's a question. I'm going to go off the rails here and get a little immature because I heard a birdie tell me that you were picking on Mom about her set, the couch and everything. And I just want to ask you, what are you sitting in front of, Adam?
A picture. It's a beautiful picture.
I mean, it is. I feel like you're like, and with the hair and everything, it just feels really romantic.
Well, I'm a romantic type of guy, I got to get. That's what am I gonna do? I got to get my hair like get a little.
Oh yeah,
it's good hair.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful hair. That's nice for a bald guy to look at.
I got to compete with Sean. I can't let him have the whole thing, so I got to get
Sean is a talented guy with beautiful hair. And so here we go. We just went off the rails. And so you can buy the tickets. You can get them now. We will be promoting these tickets right up to the event. And listen, I'm going to put it out there again. Whatever happens, this thing's going to be successful. We just got a connection with one of the biggest veterans organizations. I'd say the biggest veterans organization in the country. They're committed to supporting this event. They're going to put it into their networks. We're still reaching out to some interesting speakers, maybe some celebrity-style, political-style people. You never know who might be able to show up because people are interested in this kind of thing because they know this is going to be the biggest opportunity when it comes to 2024. We have to reach a different voter, and this is a platform, well, they're going to reach those people out there that are concerned about this upcoming election.
Oh, well said. That brought in an issue that, is close to my heart because I'm always working for people to wake up. And you've heard this adage 1,000 times. Injustice occurred when good men do nothing. You're doing something. You're doing something. You're not only putting together something that is Christian, that's godly, which we must have. I mean, the motto is always God, family, and country. God, family, and country. That's across the board. So you just brought an interesting point back into the conversation, which I touched on a little bit earlier, and that is what I said last night. Is politics doesn't belong in the church, but the church belongs in politics. So you have to remember that going forth, you're required by God to help with your country. And I think something occurred to me while you were talking. I want you to touch on Ashbury and the praise and worship there. And I hope that the Saving Sinners tour we're going to have across that whole event. We're going to have praise and worship with these singers.
I think that's a great point. And, the one thing is I do think that we're going to have to get the whole team on here one night. We'll do a live and we'll all be able to share each other's, experience and why. But, my testimony, which is, I guess, the thought process of creating the Sinners Tour, was that I went through a lot of changes since December of last year, my birthday. And I was turning 53 on December 17th. And I decided that I was broken as a man and someone that quite honestly was lost. And I was ready to actually check out, to be honest. That's the truth. And I say this publicly now. I mean, I just had given up. And I went in and took 3 days off. The 3 days off, I went into the wood, but the wood really was an old factory that I have. And I stayed outside in the elements, and I went through a series of things. And some really serious things happened that night. And one in particular thing was with a firearm. And thank God that, I wasn't careless, although I was close to being careless. And I talk about that in the testimony. And that prompted me to come out of my experience with just a thought process of, considering suicide in someone's life, mental health suicide, considering being an alcoholic, considering being addicted to porn, consider all the bad decisions that we make. I took all of that and I put it on a plate. And I said, if I can't deal with it, then I don't want to deal with it. And I did. And I started a series of stops. And one of them was, actually, previous to the Kentucky trip to Asbury, I came out to Kentucky and met you guys. And I talk about that as how that was set. It was setting it right at him. It was setting the tee, and we were getting teed up for the journey. Asbury University was a place where I was in Baltimore for a business trip. I had no intentions to go over to Asbury. Didn't know what was going on there. My producer, Mark, told me about it. I said, I'm interested. God spoke to me. I called Paul up, and I said, hey, I'm going to hop in the truck here. I don't have a change of clothes. I'm driving out to Kentucky. Asbury University, the revival. And some people, even the Christians I know, they're like, I never heard of it. And I said, 70,000 people from throughout the world, including this good old boy here, went. And I got into the church. And I wasn't supposed to be in the church. I was given a media pass, and they had not let media really into the church. And for some reason, the lady who checked me in said, you've come a long way. And I had. I even showered in a truck stop. I talk about that in my testimony, and I think I did get a foot fungus, so I'm not joking. So in the truck stop shower, but it was an amazing experience. And when I arrived there, I had such a sense of warmth and love and fellowship. And mind you, I skipped a part of my journey, but I took a knee in a strip club right after my birthday. And that's where I accepted Jesus. And that's the fact. It was a business meeting that I shouldn't have been in. I was driving there, and as soon as it hit me, I walked in, my knees shook. I went in the bathroom, and I took a knee, and I said, no more. And ever since that moment, I've been on this journey. And a lot of things have come from that. And sometimes when you take that walk, guys, it brings out the ugly, the good, and then eventually you get a feeling like I have now. But I struggle every day still. I mean, I have a lot on the plate. But I wanted to mention that because it's key. Asbury University, I got into the church, and I was filming, and this gentleman comes up to me, and he grabs me by my shoulder, and it was so loud in there, man, I couldn't hear, and he just squeezed me. And he said, I'm going to pray for you because you got something in you right now, and you got to let go of it. And I heard that much, and I all right, whatever. The whole time I'm trying to get my camera set up so I can film, so I can move content and draw numbers. Of course, I don't even have my settings right, so I wouldn't have gotten any numbers. We got that fixed last night with Lucretia. But, I'm that arrogant to think that I was in this environment, that I was going to take something, right? like I was going to take it from this beautiful moment. And so I videoed probably about 10 minutes, and I remember looking, and as I looked up, and I've said this publicly many times, I saw, the sun was beaming in. It was all students, 250, 300, maybe 500 people in there, and it was like a cloud was floating. And you could sense God was in the room, and it was touching because I saw all kinds of race. I saw all kinds of economics. I saw every different, gender, didn't matter. It was all just love, and you could feel God in the room. And that touched me in a way that I was like, wow, I turned everything off and I just rose and I had it. And, those are the series of things that took place. There's many other after, but thank you for asking. Asbury University, Kentucky, not too far from where you all live. And wow, just saying, I mean, pretty amazing. So that inspired me to think about me. And I came home and laying next to Paul, and I said, one night I said, I was listening to Zach Williams actually on my headphones, and all of a sudden Johnny Cash came up, and it was Johnny Cash, God's Gonna Cut You Down. And in the song, I started hearing about my life, and it was kind of weird because it caught me in a way that I didn't understand. It was telling me about things, you worked in a prison that, used to visit. And you had these series of things that took place in your life, and being molested at 8 years old, and I never talked about it until I had my show, and I talked about it with Stormy Daniels, and those things were racing through my head and this pounding in my chest, and basically the fact that I've just analyzed all I've wanted to do over the last 4 or 5 years was to get some platform, a golden, stage to go on, and really it came to me, look, go back to where you come from. You're simple. Just be a simple person. And by the way, you're a sinner. All the addictions I talked about, I had them all. Gambling, everything you can think of. I'm a walking addiction, And so when you get the addiction to God, though, it really can. You guys all know I don't swear. I mean, I've controlled that. I haven't drank alcohol, no porn, no any of these addictions that you get, and I can only give it to credit to one person. And that is, when God. And, I do give the alcohol credit to Paula because she saw me in my worst state, and that was the first initiation before God came in my life. But everything else has been that. And I'm opening up more than I anticipated, and I don't like this, but I will say that this came about in a true vision, which is organize this group of young entertainers that don't have platforms to go to. They're getting hired for events here and here. And I really say it's akin to, I think it's Pastor Smith who started the revival in the 70s, right? I think he was involved with that Long Beach, California, where the movie just came out. And I didn't even know about the movie. And quite frankly, I didn't know any of that information, but I didn't realize, Johnny Cash, Billy Graham, they jumped into that movement. And I see this right now as a movement in this country, being a previous politician. What was saying to me is God needs to be spoken about, and you need to organize a stage and bring everyone together and bring speakers and motivational people. Eric Thomas comes to mind. This is eventually the goal we have, is to bring multi-cultures and economic cultures and political differences together. And that's why this first tour is so perfect with Alonzo's group, because he's bringing a whole group of people that normally wouldn't get on stage with anybody other than what they normally do. So God basically, in a nutshell, said, here's what you can do. If you can keep this focus, you'll build a team. And once they come to the table, they'll stretch out and they'll build another team. And, our purpose here is to make sure that we get this foundation together, the first event. But, God's vision for me was to be involved, but don't take control. This is not, because sinners are everywhere. And so I think I probably lost probably a few people out here. And I'm telling you a partial testimony because, quite frankly, I'm really trying to make sure when I do say words about this, it's as impactful as possible. It changed my life and it saved my life. And what I'm saying to you is I've been talked to by many people who have said the same thing, that, they heard me speak recently, and it affects them when you realize that we're not the only ones that are broken. Someone out there right now is listening and you're hurting and you don't know where to go. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to fix it until I got God. And that's truth. And, I love the fact that some people think people that take a walk like this, right, Adam, this, they want to claim that we're liars. You're just making it. You're doing this for you're doing it for your show. You're doing it for the Sinners Tour. You know what? That's fine. You can say that that's the purpose. I gave you the reason why. But what I'd say to those people is, come take a walk in my shoes for 24/7. I still have all the pain and anxiety, the personal issues you go through in life. We all know what they're like. I'm normal. All I'm trying to do is just do like anybody else, do my part for this country and for my Christian family foremost. Because the Christian values that I know I established in my life have changed my life so much that there's people that are leaving my life and new people coming into my life, and I'm finding a peace that no one really understands unless you start to take this walk. So you got to think about it, and this will then, I guess we sort of just manifest this opportunity in some sense into what it is. So,
Amen, brother. I completely back everything you say, and just to reiterate it, it's a wonderful story, and I've talked to you on and off through this time, and I love to see the change and that God saved you, and I'm right there. It resonates with me strongly on multiple levels. I was a lot of people who meet me now who knew me before don't recognize me. They don't recognize who I am because I'm not the same person. And if you pray enough and you ask God, because God wants you to ask for it, and once you accept Jesus in your heart and do that, some of these things, they go away. I remember the day that I was a very angry person. I mean, I fought hundreds is not even close. More over, I don't even say the number because it sounds so ludicrous, but just think about it. I got in about 64, 70 fights in 6th grade alone. We'll just say that. Expelled from school, sent to a prison school, fought every day on the street. I fought so much I have scars all over. Broken beer bottle right there. It could go on and on. I fought so much. And I was angry and I was bitter and a lot of things. And one day God lifted that from me. I mean, like a thief in the night. And it came from me, and I've never experienced it since then. All the past trauma, all the past things, God can take all that from you once you realize that you can turn to Him. He can take the bitterness away. I mean, there's nothing. The craziest part is when I talk about it, you think, oh, I get a pang or twink. No, it's just not there. It's nothing to me. To me, it's just a point, a roadmap that this is when God changed my life. God had mercy on me and did that. And that's for everyone, regardless if you believe in Him or not. It doesn't matter because He's still real. And there's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of people in pain, a lot of young people, and they don't realize they're turning to the wrong sources. They take advantage of, especially the young children. That's what we're aiming at. We're aiming at young kids. The young kids have it so bad today. Has there ever been a time worse in history? I would argue there hasn't, actually, because it's so dark and it's so, I mean, the moral degradation around is just insane. The children, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to prevent, realize that there's another way and that there's people that care like they do. There's people that love them, and more importantly, a God and Jesus that love them.
100%. I think, amen. And, one of the things that's interesting about the tour and this whole combination of this, I'm putting it out there and Adam's bringing his perspective is, I want to ask you, you've seen this country at different levels, and we're facing some great challenges in 2024. We're seeing the world, and it just seems like it's falling apart. You have taught Adam in a sense, or at least brought, somehow you have that connection with Adam with the Christian walk. Is God needed? I mean, more so than ever you've experienced in your life, because I feel like we're right now on the edge, and I'm worried about Friday the 13th, and if nobody knows, there's bulletins going out right now that there could be jihad across the world.
Of course. Tomorrow.
And so this is not being made up, and this is serious stuff, right? And so I feel like, and I'm not just joking and I'm not souping it up, I feel like what we're about to do is going to bring happiness and something to people, and that's why it resembles the 70s to me. It just, that revolution. Do you think so?
I think that there is definitely a kinship there about what happened there and what happened now. Even though the world doesn't seem as much in a turmoil back then, you're wrong. There was a Cuban crisis going on just prior to that, when everybody thought the world was going to end. Of course, nothing has been as it is today. And I want to say that there's a spiritual warfare. There's not just the war, and of course, Friday, we know there's supposed to be attacks everywhere. We're hearing that. Don't discount that there might. But the thing about, we have to let the young people know there's hope. There's God. God can put you in the middle of something and they never see you. God can. We're talking supernatural, and that's where we discount God. Um, the likeness of what happened back then is nothing compared, because Satan is his time is short. And you know what I felt like saying when you were giving your all's testimony is this: people judge everyone, red, yellow, black, and white. They judge people with tattoos. They judge people with big hair, but they judge me too. They look at me as maybe just a woman, middle class, well to do, no problems at all, never had anything wrong with her. And that's not true.
Lived in the largest trailer park in the world for years.
It's not true. I've had my own things that I have to go through. I've had my own journeys that have made me what I am. And I've went full circle. I was a minister's daughter. Listen, there's not a harder burden to bear than people looking at you and judging you. But isn't she a preacher's daughter? So I turned to the world. I ran as fast as I could to the world. So don't look at me and think that I don't have things in my past, that God led me to where I am today. And maybe for such a time as this, maybe for I'm the old folk in the whole deal. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's a sinner's tour. It's a sinner's tour.
That's right.
And it's not only, the saving sinners tour is really the capitalized. We're out to reach people, right? And that's a big part of it. So if you're out there and you're a sinner, we want you to come to the show too. But you're right on, because one of the things is, no one has as I know right now, and I believe in the walk I'm in, there was one perfect. There's no other perfect. And the one perfect was so perfect that to emulate would have to be, you'd have a very short life in the world we live in today, because this world is much eviler in a sense, and not so to take away what happened to him, but I'm saying in a sense of just the childhood growing up with technology today, the intensity of this debate between politics and our youth and our young people have to see the economics of the situation, and it doesn't make sense to anybody. You don't even know where these things balance. But being in this generation that you and I and Adam come from, and we collectively come together, we've seen the problems in America, but I don't think ever as bad as today in America.
Ever. This is a spiritual. I tell my women that are most of them are Christians, but I say, if you don't think this is a spiritual battle, you're sadly mistaken, because his desire is to destroy everybody. You are providing the tools for them to get a special experience. The Saving Sinners tour is a special experience that will have tools. Leave with hope, leave with direction, and know that there is a God who answers prayers through all the testimonies, through all the lyrics, through everything we hear. And that's what you're doing. You are building something, and the foundation of something doesn't always come easily. You have to make it strong. So what we're doing is building a foundation for further tours that reach different people in different areas.
100%. Adam, you play instruments, right?
No, not really.
You never played an instrument in your life? What instrument did you play in?
I did. When I was young, I did violin and sax and pulled around on making beats, but more of that side.
So violin, did you learn a violin younger, or did you have the sax younger?
Both. When I was real young and I gave up, I could play them a tiny bit, and I gave up on them. I was
stubborn.
Yeah.
Stubborn. Okay. Well, we can't fix the past. We can. Do you want to learn how to play an instrument?
I don't know. Ship might have sailed, but I guess I could still.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually, in this journey, some people have heard me speak about a gentleman named Buddy. You'll see some posts I have, and he's a guy that was, down on his luck. And lo and behold, I find out after I befriend this guy and we're helping him out and get him back on his feet, he's a musician. He's actually toured the world as a Christian guitar player in a Christian rock band.
Whoa. Oh, that's cool.
And so he and I have been working on my testimony, and hopefully he'll be traveling with me if we don't make a track. We'll see, but he's going to play that for me. We're combining all the songs that came to me the night of my conversation with God about the center store. And what I did is I put them in my phone and I saved them that day, and I never opened them until I started talking about it with somebody. And there's all kinds of different musicians in that thing. So we're going to play a little bit of those songs on there. So the part of this entire platform that I think attracts me the most is the racial divide, right? And I know we talked about highlighting a lot of things, because when I talk to folks on both sides, I don't care if it's the white community or the black community, I find that there's a lot more we agree on than we disagree. And I think the fundamental things are the things we disagree on are we're usually hearing from the news. We're hearing it from the media. Like that, you're really pulverizing this split. How bad is it, Adam? You got kids, one going to college, you have a younger. How bad is it in the education system of the next generation? Are these kids going to be able to understand, or are we lost?
Well, we're never lost, but it's an uphill battle, and not only that, they have a very slim chance, just by themselves, without outside help, without influence, godly influence. Because I can tell you, and also my mother knows, she's been an advocate. We have a friend that's in the Senate here in Kentucky, and she just stopped a bill, just passed a bill a little while ago, that helped the kids. But I've seen some atrocious ones. And regardless of what everyone wants to think or whatever, it was proposed by Democrats, and it was some horrible, mind-boggling bills that were passed. I mean, terrifying bills that I've told people, and they don't even believe it when I tell them the bills that we're trying to pass. So I had one child that was actually affected by it strongly, and she's not even the same anymore. She was just brainwashed, without even me talking constantly, as I do, just like this, to my children and more love. It didn't matter. By the time that it was there, I should have pulled her out and pulled her in a private school, but we can't afford that. And I couldn't afford that. And I pulled my youngest out and put her in a private school, and she's turned 400% in the godly good direction. Thank God. And it's not, that's why people are homeschooling more and more. And for, I wasn't the biggest advocate a long time ago, but man, I'm full on board now. Homeschool your kids if you can. The school system doesn't care about teaching them. The average literacy rate, they say, is 75% are illiterate. And it especially affects minority people. And it all comes down to single father homes. You'll have Candace Owens and people talk about this. Thomas Sowell, they'll tell you about the divide. It's always been an economic divide, no matter what anyone says. Going back to everything. And it's always a racial bull crap, they say, but it's always been economic. I mean, people don't understand. And if you listen to Thomas Sowell, do you know who he is? I'm sure you know who he is. He's
no.
Oh, you don't? Oh, well, man, you've got to read Thomas Sowell. Listen to him.
Send me a link. I definitely love to listen.
One of the foremost scholars. He was one of the in the 60s. He was prime. He was up there with one of the greatest preaching for equality acts back there. I'm talking about Martin Luther and all of them. He's a renowned scholar around the world. But now he's in disfavor, even though he used to be loved, because, he tells the truth about a lot of things. And I would just say turn on to him if you haven't seen it. I mean, you have to remember, but
one of the things you just brought up, and I think this is good. You're reminding your mom, as we know, mom, needs a reminding once in a while. We should be reaching out. That was a joke. It was a joke. We should be reaching out to the homeschool networks across the country.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And some partnerships, because there's a really great connection right there. And our cons, you call it cons communication professional.
Me?
Yeah. You. Yeah, you.
You're talking about
you.
me.
Yeah, you. So you close your first deal on the first day with a national brand partner.
What?
You did. You got the Veterans for America's First. It's signed. Go press release. You kidding me? Come on.
Now the funny thing is, you want to hear the funny story about connections. Here we go again. Here we go. What God does.
Now she just needs to fix her backdrop, and then we'll be all good.
So I feel like you're in a bathroom, Adam. Like you're in a bathroom. It's just in a fancy restaurant.
It's my kitchen.
Well, bathroom, kitchen, whatever. No matter.
I gotta tell you about
same thing.
So we're talking about God building this Saving Sinners tour, right? For many
Yeah.
reasons, and mostly because the youth need to hear a message, and they can hear it through those fabulous rappers and who are patriotic. But you put me in touch with Stan today, and I get off the phone and I'm looking through this, and I'm looking at the press release. And I'm a decent writer, I have to say. Adam is a great writer too. And I'm looking at it, and I had a block, right? A block. So I called my friend up in Frankfurt in the Kentucky legislation, and she is the vice chair of my RWFF,
Mm-hmm.
Republican Women's Federal Forum. Kevin, you might want to write it down because I know you forget it. Republican Women.
I'm gonna get it here. So when I have it on the screen, I'll remember.
Yeah,
So,
yesterday he said right-wing freedom fighter. I was like, huh?
I called her up and I said,
stupid. Let's just get labels out of the way, okay, guys? Relax.
okay.
I got my hands open. Relax.
Right. So I called her up and I said, she writes bills. Jesus help us. She writes bills. I said,
Yep.
I need help with this. She said, give me 20 minutes. And so it ensues. We come up with what I sent you. And she said, I know these guys. I know Stan. I said, what? She said, I know Stan. I worked with Stan's wife before because she's a veteran, like a 10-year veteran, and from Afghanistan Afghanistan. And her job was so horrific that it has made her a warrior that did not want to go into politics, but she felt that she had to. She's got a great story. I'll tell you. I'll just go ahead and tell you. Her job
Wonderful woman too. A wonderful woman, husband and
gosh.
family. Wonderful people.
Her job was picking up body parts and matching them to tag them home for the families. Now, can you imagine the soured conviction of a woman? And then she comes home, she sees the school board, she says they're doing this. She says, I'm running for Kentucky Congress. Get it? One past all odds. And now she's a rising star. I've taken her a couple of times. I'm going to probably.
It sounds like we might want to invite her to be a speaker at some point on this tour.
Already did. If we do Kentucky, I've already asked her.
Good.
And I know that, and I'm not trying to plug Kentucky because it may not happen, but I know that
Kentucky's happening. Yes.
Trump, Latinos, Borgiato, and Topher have all said they wanted to come to Kentucky.
Well, there it is.
Did she want to speak? And Topher said he wanted to speak too. And I said, hey, man, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
can you imagine that she knew Stan and his wife out, and they're in Arizona, out of all the people in the world? She said,
Crazy.
I know them. So don't tell me
That's
God's
crazy.
not making this foundation.
It's nuts. And then Stan was such a funny. He's such a if Stan's watching, Stan is a New Yorker through and through, especially the way he texts messages. I'm going to break his pen next time I see him. I'm just joking, Stan. I'm not a violent guy. But no, Stan's a great guy. He loves us, and we're helping him. In fact, Victor Avila, one of the candidates and my personal friends, Veterans for America First, is going down to the southern border to do a tour. We're going to talk about that because the Sinners Tour actually is going to bring some other things in. And really, we're talking here, and I'm getting a text message. This is kind of the crazy world when you start doing this walking, I'm not trying to be a whatever bragger. It sounds that way, but I'm not.
Oh no! Here we go.
Here we go.
Jason Scoop. You know Jason Scoop?
Who?
The comedian. He does Trump and he does Biden. Jason Scoop. He's got the gray hair. He'll put on a terrible wig, and he's like, he does all the Trump impersonations, and he does a Biden impersonation. Anyways, I'm going to have a meeting with him tomorrow. There's a place for that. And what I'm trying to say is we're reaching out. My thought is let's reach out to people that are out there because who's pulling them all together? Of course, I can go to Clay Clark's event. I love Clay. He's a good friend. He comes on the show. And the Reawaken Tour, we can go there. But you're getting the same thing. What we're bringing is an entertainment, spiritual awakening. No one is putting that much music on the stage and entertainment on the stage. They're doing a lot of spiritually driven politics. And let me tell you, the world, CPAC, if you're listening, let me tell you how you can get better. Hire us.
That's right.
Don't even play around. Hire us. Clay, I'm going to be pitching it to you next week. I know you're busy this weekend down in Florida again. He's going to hear about it when he comes on the show with me next week. I'm going to tell everyone that's out there that has a tour, you're running for office, you got an event, you want to see something that's different, you got a stadium, you can get us and you get any specific people in our troop. So right now, if you want to call us right now and say, I want to book an event for a fundraiser. And by the way, I have our first event for Arizona. Congressman Zinke is going to be having us out there. He already committed today. He came on the show before. He sent me a message. His son is one of the young guys that got jammed up in January 6th. The big J Sixers, and actually was up in trial recently. He came on and reached out to me. He just sent me a message today. His team, we're going to be booking an event out in Arizona. I was going to wait to tell everybody, but what the heck, I'm telling you now. If you want to book any of these people, right here, plus these people, any of these people, and these guys, you can see, this is Bryson Gray. You want him. Of course, you're going to want to have Topher, as we said. Any of these people, you know what you do? You reach out to us. We set you up. We'll set up a ticket. We'll do everything turnkey for you. You don't have to worry about anything. We'll do the promotion. We have a whole turnkey operation. This is a full deal opportunity. And guess what? We're spreading God's love across this country. And I want people to understand a lot of what we are doing here, donations, give backs, community involvement, the Sinners Tour, which I didn't talk about earlier, we're going into the prison systems. And the one reason why is when I talked to God on that night, he said, you came from the prison. Literally, I was a child that was visiting there, and then I went and worked there as a correction officer, not realizing the same person I was visiting, I retired in that same place from my prison job. And I didn't dawn on me until I was laying in bed many, many, many years later, and this vision came to me of where I came from. I'm no different. My skin might be different, but I didn't have no power growing up. You know what I mean? I was in a broken family, man. It was not good. And, God bless my mother. She got it together, and my father and her are still together and living in Florida and doing great things. And God bless my family, right? They all brought it together, but we didn't have much. And I can tell you that shaped who I am. So we want to bring those people to the table. You want us to come to your community event, Adam? What would you tell them out there? We talked about it, but what's a better time than now to promote something like this?
Yeah, not only that, but people need to realize this, especially like CPAC. Do you realize how culturally beneficial that would be if they got stuff in there and livened their place up with I understand all the speakers in there, and they have great and amazing speakers. But if you brought something in like Saving the Sinners Tour into that, it would speak to so many more people on so many levels who've given up on the Republican Party. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are, I know, it's overused, but rhinos and just people who say stuff but don't believe it. Well, bring in some people who are godly and believe in all these things. And, while we're getting political, even though I try to stay away from it, remember, we have senators right now that are tweeting, I stand with Palestine. They have Palestinian flags outside their door next to the Alphabet Mafia flags.
Information.
Do they realize if those very same people caught that flag next to that they wouldn't be living? We're talking about babies beheaded. Let's get serious here. Piles of people. Do you understand what's happening right here? No, they don't. Because you live in the safety and security brought to you by the founding fathers and the Christian founding document that still stands today. They're trying to erode that away so we become like everyone else. And there's so many people that are clueless to this, and so many people that are struggling with life and rent that they can't afford to even pay attention to stuff like this. There's so many people that, and I've talked to people like, I had no idea this was going on. But it's a hard thing to do because it can get very depressing, but you need to bring yourself and educate yourself to the rest of the world. You need to understand what's going on. It's important as a person when you take on that responsibility of caring about the world and your country and your fellow man and your fellow brothers. Because I've had people say they're not my brother before when I call them brother, and I say, well, yeah, you are. We're all brothers in God and Christ. And I've even people like, that's true. And I'm like, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. I don't give a dang. I care how you act. I care what you say. I care what you live by. But we need to bring people everywhere.
Breaking barriers, and that's what I'm hearing from you is you're chopping through this wire, this barbed wire of divide in our country. And Adam, I know you got it right from the get-go, and of course we all do. the one thing I'd like to close out is this. We need to make sure that we have tickets sold for this event. We need to make sure that we also do a streaming live part for this event. And we also need to be realistic that every event that you put on, there should be an expectation of the best possible, I don't care if there's a minimal amount of people or a maximum. Everyone involved needs to know that. So this is a big all call for everyone that wants to see something that's happened. You have to support us. And so, Danny, you're going to be coming up with some donation codes that are partners with nonprofits. And let's talk about that, because we just took on a partnership with, I would say, a support partnership with Veterans for America's First. We got about 3 minutes before I got to close this out. Talk a little bit about how that can look for maybe other organizations and how they can help us maybe by donating.
Absolutely. You can partner with us, and in doing so for your particular nonprofit organization, there will be a return, and you'll get your word out. The main thing is the word, the recognition of your organization. You want people to know what you're doing, and there's so many great organizations that people don't know what they're doing. So how can they donate, or how can they find out unless they get the recognition? Partnering with Saving Over. I can't remember what's wrong with my voice tonight. Saving Tour.
Yeah, there you go.
Saving Centers Tour. Then you get your word out there. You get your organization out there. We're not going to leave, but others can come in, and that's the point of it. If you come in and you partner with them, you help with them, your organization is only going to grow and get better, and that's what you have to remember. And you're doing the great cause. That's the whole benefit of the whole thing, and it is that the cause and the timeliness. A while ago when Adam was talking, I want to tell you that was confirmation. I was just about to bring that issue up about that decadent woman and why this is the prime time for us to be doing this tour, because things like that going on in the people's house, because Congress and the Senate, that's the people's house. Yet you're allowed, as a non-patriot, you're allowed to say it's okay for terrorists to do what they want to. When are we going to stop that?
It is disgusting. It's, and it's sadly what we've been trained to get used to in this country. And they're trying to indoctrinate everyone through this kind of tactic. I do think that personally that the Democratic Party is splintering right now over this issue, because there are some people with consciences in the Democratic Party. We saw recently Kennedy left the Democratic Party and is running as an independent now. And, if people want to fool yourself, let me tell you something. That is going to be a key difference in the 2024 presidential election. What Kennedy decides to do, and I fear for his life. I think that I'm worried, but they want us divided, guys. You're spot on. We're not going to let it happen, and we're going to forge through. And I will tell you, we'll have pushback. Somebody will say that this one that's involved, or that one's involved, and this one does that, or he says that, and I'm going to tell you, I love it, because I'll throw my resume just like you'll throw yours on the table every day. Come and bring it if you want to prove something of divided here. We're not divided. We're accepting, loving, God-fearing people who want to welcome everyone. If you're a sinner, come to this table. You will eat at this table as a sinner.
I want to say 2 final words, too. I want to say, first of all, don't be beholden to any party. If that party starts doing evil, it doesn't matter, and you're standing with it, then you're part of that. Remember, a good tree doesn't bear evil fruit, and an evil tree and vice versa doesn't bear good fruit. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind, very strongly. Just remember that. You know what I'm saying? It's very important. It's very imperative that we all remember that. Don't be beholden to anything like that. Recognize something and move on from that part. So even if I was, I feel like I don't need to say anymore. But remember, October 28th. Saving Sinners Tour, and become part of it. Anyone who's listening out there who doesn't understand, we might not be big now, but you may be wishing someday, if we do blow up, that you were part of this in the ground floor, that you were part of this and representing this. There's something to be said there. To be someone who's backing and believes in the project. And that's pretty much it.
You did a good job, Adam. Thank you for putting that. Diana, thank you so much. We'll come on tomorrow night again, guys, and we'll do this kind of raw talk. And, this is good for me anyways. It's like therapy, for crying out loud, the reverse. So I get to talk to myself kind of half the time. That's so it's nice to have somebody listening. And Lucretia, hopefully you'll be back on tomorrow. She was a firecracker yesterday, and we're supposed to be linking up so I can get on her platform, she can get on mine, and we can spread the word and the love. And let's get on those calls, guys. Let's make sure we charge ahead and sell some tickets for this great upcoming event on the 28th in Georgia in October. Yeah, the month of October,
That
right?
with Adam's given a couple of lines.
Oh, gosh, yes, please. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Before we leave, Adam, give us a couple of lines. Come on now, just throw it out there for
He should finish up with a prayer right after that.
for the tour. Go ahead.
Oh man! All right. I don't know why it's the push for this, but I'll give you a freestyle off the top of my head. If I only had one thing to say, it's only what God said. For He so loved His world that He gave His only Son. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I need a little beat or something.
No pressure on you tonight. I'm gonna stop you right there because I think we're gonna work on you. You're gonna be doing one song down in Georgia, so I want you to work on it now. So you got time? No, I know. Well, you got time, right? I want you to do one song. That's my request. I want to get you up on the stage, and that's the gift right there that I think you're gonna give to us, your voice. I know you can sing.
Go ahead.
I'd rather rap, but yeah.
No, we're gonna hear you sing. We're gonna hear you sing.
We'll hear me sing. Why is this solo spot keep shining on me? I don't understand. Is God trying to give me a message? Is God giving me a message? I feel like.
Picture you just think of you as like a Hollywood sort of elite singer performer guy.
Yep.
Well, I would never say that. I would never say that.
Yeah. And you turned down Hollywood, right?
What?
Did you have a kid in Hollywood? Am I wrong? I can't talk about that.
I lived in
Pierre.
Hollywood, yeah.
Pierre.
Yeah.
And you lived in Hollywood as a mom for a little bit, like right? And you did the whole thing.
3 times, yeah. Studio.
And what's that like? What was it like? And so that's a story in itself. And maybe we should save it. But was it crazy? Do you have some stories that we should talk about the next time we get together?
It was pretty crazy sometimes, yeah.
Do you have some stories?
Yeah, I do.
And I don't want to hear any of the dirty stories. I want to hear the clean stories.
Got the big flash that says censored because I'm. Because
When she says something like that,
I mentioned my shoulder tattoo of Forgiato Blow, and you censored me.
She said, well, you're getting off the rails. So anyways, tomorrow we'll get into that about your experience with Hollywood and your son Pierre and much, much more. Adam, thank you so much for coming on. Diana, thank you as well. And listen, let's go. Keep on charging, folks, right here on the Kevin Allen Show. Hope everyone understands this event is coming up on October 28th right down in Georgia, Loganville, Georgia. You can look right here. You can get the QR code, Saving Sinners Tour, Faith Over Fear Revival, Saturday, October 28th right here. And this is going to be jam-packed with performers, speakers, and more. You don't want to miss it, and we'll be definitely, I'm going to say it right now, we're going to have that link so you can watch it streaming anywhere tomorrow.
Got it.
Goodbye.